Maybe. Y'all heard this alarm go off? That means it's 6 o'clock. I want to call this meeting to order. Pastor Clark, would you come up, please, and give the invocation? And yet, right there, sir, right by the microphone. And also, if you would, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray together. Dear Lord, we thank you for this day, for this marvelous occasion now together as a community to discern and to decide upon issues affecting our community. Bless these who lead us. Bless these citizens who have come with their interests. Let your spirit abide in this place, O God. And when it is all done, receive the glory. We ask it and pray it in your name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Pastor. Okay, if we could now, we'll go ahead and move to adopt the agenda.
I'd make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Do we have, Mr. Templar, I know there was a piece of the agenda. Did we want to talk about that now, or?
If you would like some clarification on.
Yeah, I think there's, Mr. Templar, I think, wanted to clarify the item 10, new business. And I'll kind of turn it over to him if I could, Mr. Chairman.
When did y'all have this conversation?
I talked to him, I was going to make a motion that we move the new business item to discussion only, but I think Mr. Templar wants to clarify what it is he's asking on that agenda item.
Go ahead, Mr. Templer.
Thank you. So my original decision was to put this under new business in anticipation for a potential vote, but after some meetings that staff and I have had between yesterday and today with our engineers as it relates to Pecan Orchard, I would feel more comfortable with leaving this item here, but understanding there's no vote, and I would take these funding questions to the Finance Committee to better have a conversation with those individuals to discuss the funding mechanism for this, and if there are any potential other options they may have or any questions they may have about the mechanics and the workings of pulling money from our emergency reserves.
Okay, so basically what you're asking did you make an amendment, Mr. May?
I didn't make an amendment. I'm fine keeping it the way it is. I just, for purposes of public comments, I wanted folks to know that we probably wouldn't be taking a vote.
We probably wouldn't be taking.
Yeah, well, in other words, we would not be taking a vote. It's listed under new business, which allows us to take a vote. I was going to move to put it under
Okay,
discussion.
basically what you're saying is that you weren't ready to take a vote.
Correct. I think that,
Because you
not
said
just,
we weren't going to take a vote.
right, the council, my motion was going to be to put it under new business because
Okay.
no vote was going to be, but my understanding is,
But understand what you said to me. You said that we were not going to take a vote tonight.
right,
So you must have talked to everybody and decided this before we came in here.
no, Councilman Jones, I've talked to different folks like we always do, and I explained to them my understanding is this didn't need a vote tonight, and I just wanted to make it clear that the item on the agenda didn't need a vote tonight.
So we're going to do it under discussion? Is that what you're saying?
That is correct. This would be a discussion item. That's correct.
Okay.
And that's not an amendment, Mr. Jones. He's just saying that that's what's going to happen. So he didn't make an amendment. I just want to make that clear.
Do you want to amend the agenda to put it under discussion?
We can, just to make it clear, sure. I'd make a motion to amend, to put item 10, Pecan Orchard funding, and add it as a discussion item as opposed to new business.
Is there a second on the amendment?
I'll make a second. Is that where you want it to land, sir?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Thank you, Russell.
Yes, sir.
So, all in favor of the amendment, raise your hand. Let the record show that Brazel, Tucker, Schumate, Cato, and Jones vote in favor. So it is, the agenda is amended, and that is put under discussion, Pecan Orchard discussion. Now, to adopt the agenda, all in favor of the adoption of the agenda as amended, unanimous. Okay.
You and Cato.
Or I made the motion.
You made it, okay.
Mr. DeBose. Mr. DeBose, have a quick question. Under the order, now the agenda's been adopted, under the order of business, the adoption of the agenda, it says, under the order of business of the agenda, the agenda may be varied if required by the chairperson, correct?
Correct,
Okay, so the agenda's been adopted, correct?
correct.
Then I'm going to make a order of the chair that we take the Pecan Orchard funding and discuss it before we move any further. So if you would, gentlemen. We'll go from discussion to right before public comments.
So to be clear, we're moving Pecan Orchard funding from new business to like a 4B.
Yes, 4B, that'd be good. All right. Now, having said that, I got one other thing. First off, let me say, welcome Chairman-elect Connell. See you back there. Glad to have you with us tonight. Look forward to serving with you again. Now, as the Vice Chair acting as chair for this meeting, unless anyone objects, well, first of all, let me just say this. I have been through, I'm getting surgery next week, back surgery, and I've been through a bundle of tests today. And I am going to, unless anyone objects, I'm going to ask Councilman Brazel to act as chair of this meeting tonight, unless anyone objects.
I think we need to take a vote in order to do that.
Yes, Mr. Jones.
Mr. DeBose, do we need to take a vote on that? Or just if anyone objects?
As I understand it, y'all are calling for a point of order, but deferring to me on that point of order. Yeah, I think the most proper method would be to take a vote to appoint an acting chair for this meeting. Now that the point of order has been raised, yeah, I believe that would be the appropriate mechanism.
Very good. So, we're going to do it by vote?
Yes, sir.
All right. I make a motion that Councilman Russell Brazel act as chair presiding over this meeting tonight in my place as vice chair. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion?
I'm happy to do it if that's what you'd like, sir, if no one objects.
We're going to take a vote. No discussion? All in favor? Wonderful. Come here.
On the way, sir.
Mr. Acting Chair, may I say something?
Yes, sir. Go
The
ahead.
reason I did that is because we have people from the Pecan Orchard here, and I do not want to keep them here for the whole meeting to wait for us to get through our other business. And that was the sole purpose of what I did. Okay, thank you.
Yep, so we can go ahead and have the discussion. Welcome, everyone from Kershaw County. It's a pleasure to have you here tonight. prior to public comments, we will have a discussion regarding the Pecan Orchard and the road works and the water issues that they've had in their neighborhood. This has been placed on the agenda by County Administrator Danny Templar. So do we need to take a motion to put this on the floor?
No, it's already, the agenda's already been adopted.
So I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir, members of council. As you know, this is just kind of the tip of the iceberg as it relates to stormwater and the issues we have throughout the county. But I think this is the most, if I had to prioritize all of our issues, I would certainly put Pecan Orchard at the top. Initially, I had, my approach to this was to use a small portion of our emergency reserves as I tie this latest issue with Pecan Orchard to the recent weather issues we've had. So I think there's a corollary there between this latest surge of stormwater over there and the recent weather. Therefore, it would be an appropriate use of our emergency reserves as it relates to a disaster or something of that nature. I also wanted to, as we look at Pecan Orchard, my goal was to initially tap a portion of this, the anticipated project cost to do the groundwork. That would be surveying and topography and hydrology and just understanding where water would flow over there, where it needs to flow. The survey is crucial because there's a 66-foot right-of-way over there. These are dirt roads, and as we maintain dirt roads everywhere in the county, they tend to drift a little bit in terms of they move left to right. So we have utilities over there. It's just a very busy right-of-way. Wanted to make sure that we were working in the county right-of-way, not on private property, understanding the kind of the palette, if you will, of what we have to work with over there. So I was prepared to ask council to move forward with allowing me to do that, but as I stated earlier, I'm no longer going to ask for that. I want this to go before the Finance Committee to better understand my reasoning for using those particular funds and to just discuss the approach to this project here. This is not going to be a cheap project. This is going to require a lot of expertise and professional services, and quite frankly, the county doesn't have the ability to go in with our current staff and do a project of this size. So the meetings staff had yesterday, the meetings we had today has allowed me to understand just how large of a scope a project this is as it relates to getting these ditches reestablished. As everyone knows, this is a dirt road subdivision with no retention pond, so that presents its own unique challenges. So we had a community meeting out there last week at the request of Mr. Brazel. I thought that went well. So that initial rush to action has been tempered with a lot of information that has come to my attention from engineers, from the residents out there, and my goal is to make sure we get this done correctly. I want to do our part in solving any kind of insufficient ditching or insufficient pathways for stormwater to their points of termination out there. So all that to say is it's going to be better for this to go before the Finance Committee, and then also look at in the coming months to understand that we have a larger stormwater issue in the county as a whole. And I think this needs to be looked at in a much broader scope. because this is, again, we have 300 miles of dirt road, and almost every one of those have some sort of drainage issue, and that's not even counting the probably 80 or 90 miles of paved road we have in subdivisions that can be problematic as well. So what I will be doing in the coming weeks is setting up a workshop for stormwater for council to attend. I will have staff there. I'll have our experts there from contracted services that work with us in stormwater to help y'all better understand the scope of this issue that we're dealing with. This is a long-term, or seeking a long-term solution and approach to stormwater in Kershaw County. A holistic approach from what we have now in terms of ordinances and rules and regulations through planning and zoning for new subdivisions and developments coming in, as well as potentially funding some of these stormwater issues that we have inherited from, I would say they're kind of legacy problems from times where pre-Kershaw County regulation and ordinance. So the Pecan Orchard is a fine example of that, and so it presents unique challenges. And I know there's, from my experience here in administration, there are other Pecan Orchard-like problems out there, not quite to that scale or scope, but they vary in complexity and in size. So that is, unless anyone has any questions, that is where I'm at on Pecan Orchard. I wanted this to stay on the agenda. I wanted to have this on the agenda, rather, to make sure that we are taking up action in a timely manner for those folks out there. This is something I want to see through as quick as possible, but I want to deliver as quality of a project and solution out there as I can.
Administrator Templar, could you brief the public on the meeting that we had today at 2:00, or would you like me to do that?
I'll be glad to if you want, or if you want to.
Is that pertaining to the Pecan Orchard?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Do you have this document? If you don't, I have it, and I'll be happy to do it.
I'll go ahead.
Okay, so on Tuesday, August 27th, 2024, at 2:15 p.m., the following met at the Government Center. Administration in the conference room to discuss suggestions and plans on how to improve drainage problems in the Pecan Orchard subdivision. Individuals present were Danny Templar, County Administrator, Gerald Blanchard, Deputy County Administrator, Dan Canny from Public Works, he's the Director of Public Works, Jonathan Hughes, Associate Engineer of Roads and Stormwater, myself, Russell Brazel, Danny Cato, and Hannah Parler, and she was kind enough to take these minutes for us. During this meeting, myself, Councilman Russell Brazel, suggested a Phase 1, having the property surveyed by a local surveyor so that we can find the stakes in the front yards and locate property lines versus roadways. That will give us a clear view of where the road could or should be, as well as ditches. Locate lines through the 811, any phone or internet lines, water, and have all of those identified so that, nothing was torn up with a track hoe while we were in there digging ditches out. I had suggested the use of employees of Public Works to maintain the project and restore the ditches and fixing the roads. So basically, Public Works had a large concern of pulling the entire staff of 7 to maintain this project for 6 weeks, and it would leave everything else in Kershaw County undone, according to Dan Canny. So we talked about things and kicked around different ideas and trying to hire different people and whether or not to send it to bid to find a contractor that could help, or if we could hire extra people and do it in-house. And all of that is still up in the air for discussion. The county administrator recommended the following: to first hire an engineer to come with a plan of restructure, complete the survey of the subdivision, as we had previously discussed, and talk more about the plan with the finance committee before moving forward for bids, or moving forward as an in-house project. And there may be a hybrid solution. But at the end of the day, we look for a solution. We don't want to kick this thing down the road and keep kicking it down the road, but we want to gain support of our entire council. I'm not going to be bashful and say that I don't want everyone's support in finding the solution for the drainage issues in Pecan Orchard. I spent my Sunday morning driving through the subdivision and taking a personal assessment. It took about
you did very
25
good
or
on
30
that.
minutes. And we are committed to a solution. Ladies and gentlemen, you also find a survey. We have the original survey attached here. I think it's 49 or 50 lots. And we have one with a topographical overlay with GIS. So there are things that we can fix. We can fix the drainage from the roads. We can't fix the topography of your lot. So with that being said, we're looking forward to solutions that move the water through the ditches as best as possible. We understand there are aquifers on the property. It was a working pecan orchard at one point in time. Those problems we probably can't fix, but we probably can move the water through the ditches and make sure pipes are sized correctly and that sort of thing. So this is definitely a hot topic. It's gotten everyone's attention. And at this point, I would like to send it formally to the Finance Committee for financial review. And with a abundance of gratitude for their service to Kershaw County. They meet a lot more than we do. They come in actually on Friday afternoons and crunch numbers. So I'd like to formally do that now, and we can take a vote to forward this to the Finance Committee, pending more discussion.
I just have a
First.
couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
For clarification, if I could.
Yes, sir.
One, I really appreciate you taking your Sunday morning, I think it was,
Yes, sir.
and riding through every single road with, I think you had a friend of yours from DHEC with you.
No, it was my buddy Reed,
Okay, so,
him and his kids, him and his girls. We
okay.
we just took a ride.
I think Russell rode every single road over there. You know, where I had some concern, Mr. Templer, is that the $150,000 is, there was no documentation supporting that. It was just $150,000, and then it was nothing there. I could not have voted on $150,000 without some kind of supporting documentation. I think as to my question as to what does it involve, you did a very good job in explaining that just now. However, there was nothing in the agenda packet for me to support voting for the $150,000. And if I could ask, the previous request that was sent to the Finance Committee for $832,000, $823,000, and of course, I would like to hear from the Finance Chair if he wants to comment on it. But that was brought to the Finance Committee the day before our meeting.
Would you like for me to comment on it?
Sure.
It wasn't the day before your meeting, it was actually at Monday. We met, the Finance Committee, myself and Mr. Thomason and Mr. Shoemake on the Pecan Orchard and also some other matters. Staff threw some numbers out at us that we thought needed to go back and be revised, and as the administrator stated, there was a lot of things, due diligence, that we didn't do, that the Finance Committee asked the administration to do, and so none of that was accepted. It was discussed and asked for more information on meeting with people who have more experience with stormwater, the experts on engineering and survey, and that's where it's at. So we didn't take any action or do anything. We listened, had conversation, gave back our feedback, and then we asked them to fulfill our requests. So that's how that meeting went, Mr. Jones.
And I'd also like to say I never went into that meeting with any intent of requesting, and that document with $800,000 was an internal working document for me, just by my staff, to allow me to understand kind of the scope of what we could potentially have out there. So I don't want to say it was a rough estimate, but I think with our engineers, it was a close estimate. It could go north of that or south of that. It just depends on the approach. But I never intended to ask for any funds or release. And as it relates to the documentation for tonight, Mr. Jones, I was just intending at either point where I get to that point to ask for that initial money for due diligence. It's just a request to proceed and allow me to engage and get quotes. And the survey is going to be expensive, and so is the engineering. So there was $150,000, $175,000 range of, just because that's what I had anticipated it being. So there no paperwork or anything, because we had not engaged any services at that point. So.
Well, yeah, and I feel sure that the Finance Committee, if they didn't have the documentation, you wouldn't consider it, correct?
No, it was never brought up for consideration, and nor was it requested by administration. You know, it was part of a discussion, but, you know, these numbers were not hard numbers as far as what we all needed from the Finance Committee, which was more professional assistance, help, guidance, whatever you want to call it. And so that's what we charged the administration back with.
What I'd like to see is that, I think we do have easements out there.
Yes, sir.
Yes, and we also have ditches, and some of our easements have no ditches, which we have to control the flow of the water the best we can. I realize DHEC has have you been in touch with DHEC at all?
No, sir, not DHEC.
I mean, DOT.
DOT, yes, sir.
I apologize. Mr. Chair?
Yes,
Russell?
sir. Does everybody, I'm sorry, I was actually.
As I said, there's just-
I was looking at the pictures from the rain.
As I said, I was just
that
I was
were brought in.
conflicted. I was conflicted with the numbers, with the 832 and the 150. And what I'll say to everybody in here, and the Finance Committee as well, we need to make sure we got transparency.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Any further discussion?
I just want to say, Mr. Brazo, is that when the Finance Committee makes decisions and have something to bring forward, we will make sure that everybody's included. And of course, all of our meetings are open to all of us in here and the public. There are, you know, advertised in the paper in the proper places. They are posted on the website in a timely manner to meet the guidelines that we have to by state law. And so therefore, you're welcome to come up and sit and hear anything we're talking about. There's no secrets here. It's just about trying to do the right thing and figure out how to do that. And I've said it over and over up here. I'm seriously, and the team is looking and trying to come up with a fix, with a plan as hard as we can. And I know others are up here too, but I can't wave a magic wand.
Mr. Tucker, may I ask you a question?
Yes, sir?
Would you support taking minutes to the Finance Committee?
No, sir, because we don't take a vote. You can come up if you like and listen. We don't vote. You
think it'd
have
be
not
good.
seen a vote come out of the Finance Committee.
I just think it'd be good if we had minutes.
Come
It's my-
sit.
my
Come sit
opinion.
and join us, and then you can take minutes.
My opinion, sir, don't get upset.
Oh, by no means.
I can tell. But anyway,
Man, I'm too tired to get upset. You don't know how tired I am.
well, listen, let me just say this. I think it'd be a good thing if we took minutes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further discussion, gentlemen? All right, so at this time, because this is a discussion item only, we do not need to take a vote, but I would like to refer the request for $150,000 for the initial survey and engineering for the Pecan Orchard to the Finance Committee. And I would like to have it back, sir, for a vote.
Mr. Chair, we will get on that, and we will let you know of the dates in the public when we're going to meet. I know it won't be until after Labor Day because we're coming up on Labor Day weekend, so it won't happen this week. As soon as we can dial in our schedules with staff, we'll let you know what that date and time is and location.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Look forward to it. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your leadership, Russell.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Councilman Brazel, before we move forward, this is a bit of a matter of housekeeping. I just wanted to announce for those that might be wondering, that Councilman Tomlinson is not with us today because he's having not feeling very well, but obviously he would be here if he could, but that's why he's not here in dialing. I just want to make sure folks knew he didn't just miss the meeting. I just thought he'd probably want people to know that.
He is under the weather. Hope he gets better soon. Moving on to public comments. How many do we have signed up tonight, sir?
We have 6 signed up to speak, so by my math, that's 5 minutes apiece.
5 minutes apiece, perfect. Councilman Shoemate, would you mind reading the
Yeah.
Public comment guidelines?
Happy to. Public comment guidelines are as follows. This is an opportunity for members of the public to share information with council by speaking at the council meeting. It is not, however, a time for debate or questions and answers from council. It is a time for council to receive input. In short, public comments, during public comments, council will listen to the public but not comment on the public comments. Individuals requesting to speak must sign up with their name, topic, and phone number, which has been done. Offensive and inappropriate comments will not be tolerated. If a group would like to speak, we ask that one spokesman is selected from the group. It's 5 minutes per person, with a max of 30 minutes. As Mr. DeBose just mentioned, we're going to have 5 minutes apiece, given the number. And public comments to council as an agenda item shall continue uninterrupted to be live streamed by audio and video until the public comment agenda item is finished and concluded. And these rules may be altered by a single vote of council.
Thank you, sir. Moving into public comments, could we have our first speaker, please?
First speaker is Rose Jackson. Subject is Pecan Orchard.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. I am Rose Jackson. I'm currently the owner of 419 Blackberry Place, which has been the discussion of many meetings and social media posts of late. And I wanted to clarify some information related to that lot and also clarify some history related to the dirt roads being taken into maintenance by Kershaw County. I originally approached Kershaw County Council back in the late 90s and asked them to take our roads into maintenance, and it had nothing to do with drainage at that time. We were having some drainage issues, but the issue was we had one neighbor that had scraped those roads but had discontinued that, and my husband's grandmother lived down the road, and 911 had told us due to the condition of the roads, she was no longer going to be able to be transported by ambulance. So that was really what drove me to try to get the roads in to county maintenance. Also, at that time, I went before the CTC and obtained the forms necessary to get the roads paved in Pecan Orchard. But we had to get over 50% of the residents to agree to the paving, and I could not achieve that because a number of our neighbors didn't want the roads paved. So subsequent to that, my husband and I at the time I acquired that lot, 419 Blackberry Place, which was adjacent to my home, 417 Blackberry Place, when the DOT decided to update the rest area. We didn't realize how close that rest area was to us until we had built our house. So I acquired that property as a buffer between my house and that rest area, because we had a number of small kids in our family, and we just wanted that protection zone, if you will. Well, subsequent to that point, we sold that house to the Burings as part of our divorce settlement. And we offered both Corlin and Michael Buring and Miss Yvonne Grooms on the other side of that lot. We told them if we ever sold the lot, we would give them right of first refusal. So I did that. Ms. Grooms had told me previously she had no interest in the lot. She had more than she could take care of. So I sent a text message over to Corlin Buring approximately a week to 10 days before we were going to list that lot for sale, because I'm buying a new home. So I said, we're going to list this lot for sale. Are you interested? We agreed to give you right of first refusal. She said, what is the price? I told her the price, the list price, and she said, I'm not sure we can afford that. And I have the text messages that I will provide to y'all. From that point in time, when we told her we were going to list it in about a week, she questioned the comps related to the price that we had, and she said, we can't afford that. Coincidental to the time when we posted that lot for sale, she renewed this fight with Kershaw County. And as a result of the posting she has made on social media in that Pecan Orchard group, and some of the erroneous things she has said, such as the low point is on 419 Blackberry Place, that is not true. The low point exists between those two lots on 417 and 419. Those ditches were never designed to have a retainage pond on 419 Blackberry Place. The county has never approached me to buy that lot, nor have I given approval for y'all to use it as a retention pond. So what has happened as a result of all of this miscommunication, and she has repeatedly stated, Corlin Buring has stated on social media, that Kershaw County has represented to her that the runoff is going to go through my lot. So subsequent to that meeting that was held in the Pecan Orchard at 417 Blackberry Place, I had an executed contract to sell that lot, and the buyers backed out of that contract. So I have personal damages now due to erroneous information that continues to be posted on social media sites. It continues to be talked about, and I'm very upset because if it weren't for my efforts, the county would have never have maintained those lots. So because they can't afford the lot, they have waged this social media war to somehow discount that lot. And if they can't have it, they don't want anyone else to. So I'm very upset, and I want the county to deal with that.
Thank
That's all I
thank
have. And
thank you,
I've
ma'am.
got these copies if you would like them.
Well, we don't try to wedge ourselves between any personal matters, and we like to keep the content of our discussion general. So,
Well, the county's being blamed for this, so I think y'all are involved because she keeps saying, and she's named Mr. Templar, she's named others, as saying, we were told that that lot could never be built on, we were told that that lot would never perk, and the county has not said any of that to us, and it doesn't exist in any documentation.
okay, I think our time is up. We will be happy to work with you in any form or fashion to resolve those issues.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. If you could leave your contact information with, okay, thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Diane Robinson, the subject is watery.
Subject is what, Mr. DeBose?
Watery, as in the river.
Okay,
lake,
gotcha,
yeah.
sorry.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes,
Welcome.
thank you.
Thank you for being here tonight.
Good afternoon, evening, whatever you want to say. I've been here since I was born.
Could you pull the microphone a little bit? It's a little hard to hear. If you just pull it down just a little bit.
I've been here since I was born, and I won't tell you how long that's been.
16 years.
I was glad to see that y'all had the IBT thing on the agenda. So I thought, well, I'd bring up the fact of the quality of the water. I had emailed a couple of y'all last year, and nothing has been done. It's the algae that is in our cove. We're in a very shallow cove. We're in the Shaw area, if y'all know where that is on the lake. But anyway, I had approached or emailed Duke Energy back in 2011 about this stuff that was growing. They actually sent somebody there, and they verified that it was Lingbia. It's very, it stinks, and it looks bad. And that's why I made pictures and put them on your desk. But anyway, I'm hoping that with your going to North Carolina Water and pursuing this thing of lowering the water that comes through Wateree, because with the IBT and they're diverting our Wateree River to Yadkin River, I think it is, that means we get less, and that means you'll have more shallow areas. And with that shallow area, you're going to get the algae. And nobody seems to know what to do with it, but, you know, I'd like for y'all to just get a barge and just scrape it and put it on a barge and try to find some place to put it. That's basically all I needed to say.
Thank you. My district is the lake, the entire lake in Kershaw County. I'd be happy to talk to you about that, and I'd be happy to work with you and Duke Power to help solve these issues. If you could just leave your contact, I'll be happy to reach out to you. Thank you. All right, next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Nisi Miles, Pecan Orchard.
Okay. Ms. Miles? Welcome.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Nisi Miles, and I know that the Pecan Orchard was brought up 2 weeks ago. I was not able to come because my daughter had her first dance class. But I want to start off by saying that I have seen more county employees in the Pecan Orchard this last month than I have in the 5 years that we have lived in the neighborhood. Even when I have emailed for months asking the county to come out and dig my overflowing ditch in the rain, this is the most I've ever seen. So I really do appreciate the response. I wish it would have been sooner, but I do appreciate the response we are getting now. I hope it continues until we have the issue in the Pecan Orchard completely fixed. In 2019, my husband, who was 26, and I, 24, purchased what we thought was our dream home. We were ready to start a family, and when we saw the Pecan Orchard property, we thought it was the perfect place to raise a child. In 2020, we found out we were expecting, and we knew we would do whatever we could to provide a life for our daughter. Over the years, the dream property has not been the dream we thought it would be. Because of the county's unmaintained ditches, it has actually caused many issues for my family. For example, do you guys know what 3-year-olds love to do? They love to play outside. And when it rains, my kid loves to put on her rain boots and stomp in her muddy puddles. But in the Pecan Orchard, this is not an option. My daughter cannot go out and play in the rain and stomp in puddles because the rain has already run through our neighbors' yards, over unmaintained county ditches, and into our yard. The water draining into our yard had sewage in it, and if my daughter plays in it, she will get sick. Because the county hasn't maintained these ditches, my daughter can't do one of her favorite things, which is play in the rain. Another example, in April, my husband and I set up a play area for our daughter. We, along with our neighborhood friends, spent the day moving her playground equipment, laying down landscape paper, building a border around the playground, and covering the area with bags and bags of mulch. Little did we know that in a few short months, our hard work would quite literally be washed away because of these unmaintained ditches. If the water is doing this to my child's playground, what do you think it's going to do to my home? I understand the county is trying to come up with a solution for the drainage issues, and I understand that you have all come and talked to us with your ideas for these plans, but nothing has been set in stone, and nothing has been approved. When you vote to approve the budget to repair the Pecan Orchard, please think about the people who have invested thousands and thousands of dollars into these homes. Think about the money we, the property owners, have poured into the repairs because of the drainage issues. Please think about my sweet girl that doesn't deserve to play in septic water that flows through her yard, nor does anyone else. Please think about the thousands of dollars we pour into taxes each year. The county is responsible for this drainage issue, and the county needs to handle it before it causes unrepairable damage. To the county members, it may seem like this is not a big deal, but you please remember, these are our homes. We live here, we raise our families here, and we pay taxes here. We deserve to have a safe and maintained environment for our families and ourselves. The last thing I'd like to say is that I hope you don't get tired of hearing about the Pecan Orchard. The people that live here are very stubborn, and I promise you we will not stop advocating for our homes until something is done to fix it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that very much. And the words are not falling on deaf ears. Our fourth speaker, please.
Michael Burring, Pecan Orchard.
Welcome, Michael.
Hey, I'm Michael Burring, resident in Pecan Orchard. Obviously, it's a hot topic. We're all talking about this, so I'm not going to take up a lot of time. It's as simple as this for me. I know it's been a discussion for a long time with council, with administration, and I appreciate everything that everyone's contributed so far. Russell, I know you've been out there. Jimmy, you've been out there. We've all looked at this together and had a lot of discussions about it, so thank you guys for that. Thank you, admin, for getting folks out there to do some preliminary work, getting things cleaned up. I just basically want to read this to you. As responsible stewards of county resources, Kershaw County will deliver efficient, effective, and safe public services while remaining accountable to our residents. That's pretty clear, cut, and dry, guys. I don't feel like anything's being done efficiently at all. It's not being done effectively, or at least hasn't been in the past half a decade. And I understand these are inherited issues. You still own them. I'm sorry for that, but you do. And you have a responsibility to fix them. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Well noted, and you and I had a very positive conversation today, and I appreciated that. We will continue to work together until we find this solution. Our fifth speaker, please.
Corlin Burring,
Welcome, Corlin.
Pecan Orchard.
I actually have a few documents to. Do you mind passing?
Would you like to pass those out, ma'am?
I think that's enough.
What are we passing out?
Just some documents that I was going to reference, so that way you'd have them in front of you. and it would
As
make
we
more
have
sense.
had done many times before, as we have had
Well,
done
the
many
reason I'm-
times before, Mr. Tucker.
Well, you didn't take Ms. Jackson on, that's why I'm asking. So if you're gonna take people's stuff,
We'll
you
take
take
hers
it all
too.
and be consistent about what you do, Mr. Jones.
Mr.
That's why
Tucker,
I'm asking.
take a deep breath.
No, I'm gonna breathe
Mr.
on you
Temple,
in a
would you
minute.
get Ms. Jackson's as well, please?
We'd be more than happy to
I
have
didn't
Ms.
know she had
Jackson's as
anything to
well.
pass out. Lord have mercy, we'll take them all.
All right. Walk us through this, please.
Before I start, I just wanted to address two people directly. Mr. Brazel, I know that last week's meeting didn't quite go the way that either of us would have liked at one point, but the way that you've handled the situation shows your true character, and I know you've been told that I was bad-mouthing you. I made one post which was deleted immediately after you reached out, and I questioned the intentions of those who said otherwise. And Mr. Blanchard, I don't know if you're still here, but I just wanted you to know that we do see your hard work and we appreciate, well, he wasn't here, I don't know if he is now, everything, and we look forward to finding a resolution. Now to why I'm here. At the last council meeting, Mr. Brazel called for a meeting to be held on site with the neighbors of Pecan Orchard. This meeting was held in my front yard on the 21st, and while I didn't take a head count, I was told there were somewhere between 50 and 60 residents in attendance. During this meeting, we were informed by county administration that no plan had been put to paper and that there was no budgetary number for any portion of this, but that wasn't entirely true. I have received a small portion of my FOIA request, and one document shows that there is at very least some semblance of a plan. This document was edited by a Kershaw County administrative employee who works in the Register of Deeds on August 6th and 7th of this year. It shows where you plan to remove established trees and bushes and build up the intersection in one area. It also appears to show the direction of water flow, and last but not least, it notes that there is no easement for the outfall of a huge drainage pipe that was installed down my property line in 2020. It notes it as owner maintained. And well, this is news to us because we were told that there was an easement. How has this happened? The water from this pipe flows out with tremendous force, and its path isn't straight. As you can see from the pictures that I've shared with all of you, it takes a sharp turn to the left, which forces water into my fence and down a portion of it flows directly into my backyard. Damage to the fence and the backside of our property is bad enough, but we also must consider the septic water that flows into these ditches. The water flows directly down Blackberry Place, goes under the road, and down the pipe straight into my backyard. My backyard is where my 3 boys, who are all here tonight, play, where we spend times with friends and family and our dogs. I know most of you, if not all of you, have children. We used to live next to a couple of your children. You can't tell me that you would be okay with this. This is a public health issue, an issue that I have been trying to get resolved since 2019. I know that many of my neighbors have been going at this for much longer. At what point do we start to hold people accountable? As you can see in the emails I have provided you with, I never received a response from county administration when I asked what qualified them to determine water flow, as there was no hydro engineer on site. Furthermore, on August 10th, 2021, I was advised to get an attorney instead of being worked with to find a real solution to the issue. This last email on the thread is from the same day where I asked how to get in contact with the administrator at the time and how to get in contact with them because we were clearly not getting anywhere. Never received a response. At the time, I'm not sure if the administrative office is trying to call our bluff or if they think this will fizzle out and be a thing of the past. Let me assure you that we are not going anywhere and we will continue to show up and be loud until something is done. Council members, I took the time over the weekend, to collect the tax records for all the properties in Pecan Orchard. Since 2019, the county has collected $518,000 plus. Your mission statement calls for you to be responsible stewards of county resources, and you will deliver efficient, effective, and safe public services while remaining accountable to your residents. We are not living in a safe environment, and that has to change now.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate your cordial delivery. Looking at the pictures that you've provided, I definitely see some shortcomings in some of the outflow pipe, and it's pretty clear that the pipe's too short and probably too small. So those are all things that engineers will tell us how to fix appropriately, and we will move forward with the plan. Do we have one more speaker?
Correct. Mr. Tom Webb, subject is litter.
Mr. Webb, welcome. Thank you. I have one question before you start. Did you bring me a can? Oh, shucks.
Got you some cardboard.
Sir? Okay.
I'm still going to contend with you over your litter ordinance. I don't like it. Your litter ordinance makes it a finable offense to own cardboard. Why broken down cardboard? Where is the litter problem with cardboard? It's nowhere. It's government overreach. Certainly not Republican small government to make people out in the boondocks own no cardboard. Your cardboard ordinance comes to bear against my First Amendment right. The First Amendment doesn't give us rights. They're God-given and unalienable, and government is supposed to protect them. Unalienable. You have them whether you want them or not. And government can't destroy these rights, but government can suppress unalienable rights, and that's what your litter ordinance is doing. The way the litter ordinance harms my First Amendment comes against my free expression, free speech, freedom of the press, and the right to redress my government. I do these things with cardboard. I use cardboard for my signs. You take away my cardboard and you make it difficult for me to communicate. Is that what you want? So I'm turning in one piece of cardboard to avoid the $250 fine. But I got some more cardboard that I'll make a statement about. I think you should go back to McMaster's litter ordinance. It's more sensible. So an example of my redressing the government with cardboard would be this sign. So I was on the street today with us for a little bit. It's been 3 years ago, yesterday, that we lost about a dozen men at the gate to the airfield in Afghanistan when the withdrawal was occurring, a suicide bomb. And Kamala had a lot to do with it, and Biden. I don't know exactly where it all went, but our government backed away from billions of dollars worth of equipment. They left it there in Afghanistan. Billions of dollars. And it's in the hands of the Taliban and China. So was it a mistake? Did somebody just goof up and make a mistake? Poor old Biden? No, he's just a puppet. Somebody's pulling the strings. So somebody didn't just make a mistake. This was very purposeful. Don't you think? Billions of dollars worth of equipment in the hands of the Taliban and China? I think so. It smells. So I'm turning in one piece of cardboard to avoid the $250 fine, and I'll turn in this one another time. Thank you very much.
Good to see you, Mr. Webb. Thank you for coming. All right, if that ends public comments, is that everyone, sir?
Correct.
We will move on to public presentations. We have a +1 award recipients here, placed on our agenda by County Administrator Danny Templar.
Mr. Brazel, before we get started, can we get Mrs. Jackson's information passed out, please?
Absolutely. Ms. Jackson, would you like to give that to our administrator, ma'am? And thank you all for being here. It's certainly our duty and our privilege to sit before you and listen to these issues and work through them together.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Moving along. public presentations. Take it away, Administrator Templar.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Members of council, I'm happy to make this presentation tonight. This is something I've wanted to do for a long time, this entire initiative here to really challenge county employees to come in, do the best of their job, and find one thing extra to do every day. Thought that would be an initiative to kind of change the culture here, but what I've quickly found out is that culture has been instilled and been a part of this organization for a long time, and this is merely a mechanism to highlight a lot of the good things that go on. We have our detractors out there, we always will, but what I'm going to do is make sure that I celebrate what our employees do, the good things. Sometimes, you know, we are fallible, we make mistakes. We don't get everything right every time, but just every +1 recipient, every +1 nominee has gotten it right. They have gone above and beyond. So I am beyond happy to talk about this at a county council meeting. You have no idea. What +1 is again, it's an initiative to encourage every county employee to perform their duties in the most professional and helpful manner, plus do one thing in the course of their day extra. Our goal is to improve the public's experience with Kershaw County government, challenge county employees to perform at a higher level every day, and improve the county government relationship with the public. Our objective is to deliver a higher emphasis on customer service in departments servicing the public, as well as those departments that service the county employees internally, such as IT and HR. So the way this works is this is pure a nomination platform that you're nominated by your peers, so it's not a supervisor. It's just where if somebody sees someone doing something and goes above and beyond in their daily course of duties, they take this little card here and they just write a little handwritten note describing what they saw, that exemplary behavior. And I'm also happy to say that we're getting a lot of these from the public as well, so that lets me know that we're on track. So in this particular instance, as we go along, they are submitted. Our Employee Relations Committee looks at these cards. They nominate the best one each month. That monthly winner, if you will, or that monthly notable employee gets put in a pool for the biannual award, and then they are selected out. These winners were selected out of that biannual pool. So we have 2 EMTs and 2 firefighters that were selected for this award, the biannual award. We presented this at the employee luncheon the other week. So I'm just going to read you what these individuals did and how they went above and beyond. On March 12th, Kershaw County Fire Service and Kershaw County EMS were dispatched to respond to an address on Beaver Dam Road for a medical call regarding a fall. While on scene, Lieutenant T. Raven and firefighter C. Baxley, along with paramedic D. Alvarez and EMT J. Holland, assisted the patient and were able to provide him with some food. While on scene, they noted that the patient had minimal furnishings and no refrigerator. So the patient had limited mobility due to a prior medical history, and our Kershaw County Fire Service personnel, in conjunction with EMS, took it upon themselves to put together some money to pay for a hot meal, as well as purchasing some non-perishable food items. Highway 1 Cafe in Cassett, upon hearing about the situation, donated lunch to the patient, allowing for all the money to be collected to be used on non-perishable items. This afternoon, or that particular afternoon, they were able to deliver a meal to him, as well as the items that they had taken up the collection for. They also completed a home fire safety visit and installed smoke alarms for this resident. So they were out there for just one issue, but they went above and beyond and showed that human element that you will see a lot in our first responders. They didn't have to do that. Came out of their own pocket and just showed this incredible amount of humanity for this individual that had limited circumstances, limited abilities. And so if I could get those individuals to come up here and...
Could you say their names again?
Yes.
I don't think he said
He did, when he read the thing.
Lieutenant T. Raven, firefighter C. Baxley, paramedic D. Alvarez, and EMT J. Holland.
Are they here?
Yes.
Yes,
I don't think they want to know their names.
Sir,
Council, if I could do a picture.
could we invite them in? You guys want to walk down?
Yeah, let's do that. Stand with you, stand here by yourself.
Ben, Ben Connell. Connell, come on up here. Come on, Ben.
Won't be long, just come on.
You already pushed me out one time, come on.
All right. Pop those Zooms on, guys. Zoom out.
Stand here with me.
Heroes. Rough and tough.
Hey, thank you, guys. Congratulations.
Yeah, and
That's really
ladies.
awesome. And ladies,
All right,
yes,
thank
thank you.
And if I can too, I think all of us know that,
Councilman Jones?
thank you, Danny Templer was a public servant as well in law enforcement.
Absolutely.
And as well as Mr. Tucker,
And Mr. Jones.
I was the best.
I'd like to say this. Leaders lead in the fashion that Administrator Templar just exhibited by shining the light on the employees that went above and beyond and not on himself. And that's how a leader builds a team and encourages a team. So thank you for being that leader, sir.
Thank you. And I'll just close out with, this is the awards that these individuals will get. So it's something they can display proudly on their desk and it's kind of memorialize what they did and have all the other employees kind of come by and say, well, that's a +1 winner.
Yeah,
So-
it encourages others to do the same and
Awesome.
to give that extra
Can we
effort.
vote on
Thank you
each
so
other for
much.
+1 up here?
Sir,
Can we vote on each other, us 6, 7, when?
you probably don't want to take that vote.
No.
But thank you all for allowing me to showcase these individuals.
Absolutely,
Thank you so
absolutely. Why
much.
wouldn't we? Thank you. All right. Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
I will move that we approve the minutes.
Second.
Second. All right, we've got a first from Councilman Schumate, a second from Mr. Tucker, Councilman Tucker. Any discussion?
Thank you, Miss Hannah.
As always, the gentleman. And we can take a vote. All those in favor? It's unanimous. Councilman Jones, Councilman Cato, myself, Councilman Schumate, Councilman Tucker. All right, moving on to ordinances. A second reading, an ordinance authorizing the amendment and reinstatement of restrictive covenants affecting designated wetlands, tributaries, and related buffer areas located upon the property within the industrial park in Kershaw County, formerly known as Governor's Hill West Business Park, pursuant to the requirements of the Department of the Army, permit number SAC 2006-03871. Do I have a motion to put this on the floor?
I'll make that motion.
Councilman Schumate, do we have a second?
Second.
Councilman Tucker, do we have any discussion? Any discussion, Councilman Schumate?
Nope.
All right, I think we've been through this, kind of a minute, nuance, just delineating wetlands in the old Governor's Hill. So, all those in favor? Councilman Jones, Councilman Cato, Councilman Shoemake, Councilman Tucker, and myself. It's unanimous. All right. Item B, County Ordinance Review, placed on the agenda by Councilman Sammy Tucker Jr. Do I have a motion to put this on the floor?
Make a motion that we put this ordinance on the floor so we can have a review and a discussion and whatever else y'all deem necessary.
All right, we hear a second.
I'll second.
All right, second by Councilman Shoemate. Discussion. Mr. Tucker, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Brazel, very much. So I'm going to lean on Mr. DeBose as well. This is making sure that we're following our own ordinance and making sure that we understand our pathway moving forward. And Mr. DeBose, was the motion and second and vote taken today to place Mr. Brazel as chair of our meeting tonight in accordance with our ordinance?
Yes, and I think it was exacting to what Robert's rules would have.
Yes, sir. And so with that, I would just ask that we make sure that we're always going by what we wrote or what we adopted as a council moving forward, so we won't get any, run into any blockage or roadblocks or obstacles is what I'm trying to say. And Mr. Jones, you brought up an interesting point earlier in this discussion, so I'm not sure how my colleagues feel, but you said you're getting ready to have surgery, and I personally would not like to take this vote every time we meet on who's chairing the meeting. So my question to you, before I put a motion on the table, is are you okay staying in the vice chair position, or do we need to appoint a new one at this time?
I would like to, excuse me, I would like to appoint a new one at this time.
Okay.
Excuse my voice.
Well, if it's in order, I would like to make a motion that we appoint Russell Brazel as our vice chair moving forward throughout the year.
I second that.
Means a lot, Sammy. Thank you, sir. We should take a
Good
vote?
job.
Yes.
Well, the discussion, right?
Well, any discussion? I was trying to fast track it,
No,
sorry.
listen, I think it's well-deserved, and I think that obviously, you know, we have a new chair coming in, and Mr. Jones, I want to say, you know, the work you've done running the meetings, both sometimes temporarily and then after the resignation of our chairwoman, always kept us on time. I mean, did exactly what I think a chairman does. So my hat's off to you, sir. I think you did an excellent job running these meetings. I want you to know that.
Thank you.
And had you wanted to stay, I would fully support that.
I know that.
So,
I have no doubt in my mind with all of you up here. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you, each and every one of you for believing in me. It's an opportunity for me to grow within this council. I care dearly about my hometown and my home county, and I know over the past 4 years, I've grown a lot in the ability to show leadership, and I do appreciate everyone's support in this. Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. Russell, I just want to say I'm very proud of you, and I appreciate you taking this on. And I know that you'll work well with Chairman Connell.
I will. Thank you, sir.
He's bigger than you.
He is bigger than me. He's giving me a look, too.
Mr. Brazel,
Yes, sir.
this is your
Councilman
time,
Tucker.
this is your trial run now. You got 4 months.
4 months.
Well, I'm going to do my best. No promises. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to say, thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate your time that you spent as vice chair. You run the meetings efficiently. We didn't ever have any 5-hour meetings when you was running the meeting, so I really appreciate that. Russell, congratulations, well deserved.
Thank you, sir.
Look forward to working with you as well. Don't take it lightly.
I
I know
don't.
you'll do a great job.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
May I say one last thing? I appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity. I really didn't want the vice chair when I took the vice chair, but we did. I did. And I'm going to say this too, even though I worked with him 6 years on county council, I'm not surprised at what he does when he comes here. But I'm looking forward to Chairman Cornell sitting up here too, so we got all our seats full. We're ready to move forward. And you plan on being here when, Chairman?
9/16.
You mean September?
Yes.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that it takes a gracious man to say those words. Political rivalries and battles are tough. There's no doubt. Put your name on that paper and you run for a position, you're really sticking your name out there for anything to be said or done and, you know, talked ugly about. And so everybody up here has been through that. And I'm very proud of Councilman Jones, and I dearly look forward to Chairman Connell coming on board and steering the ship. So let's move forward. Thank you all.
Amen.
Councilman Brown.
All in favor?
Whoa.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Continue, sir.
I want to tell Councilman Jones, thank you as well. I thought you did an amazing job. I'm going to use your words back on you. We didn't always agree, but I thought you ran a good meeting and that you tried to keep us all inclusive, and that meant a lot to me. So thank you for your hard work.
Appreciate it, sir.
And thank you for stepping up when the time was needed.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations, Mr. Brazel.
Thank you, Mr. Tucker. Means a lot.
Yes.
Now we take a vote.
Yes.
If everyone is done, all those in favor? Thank you all. Very kind of you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Councilman Tucker decided to surprise me tonight. I did not see that coming. Moving to item number 9, resolutions. A resolution by Kershaw County Council opposing Charlotte's water proposal, interbasin transfer modification request, and I'm in full support of this. We'll take a motion and get it on the floor, and then we'll discuss it. Do I have a motion to put this on the floor?
I'll make a motion, we put this on the floor.
Councilman Cato.
I'll second it.
Second, Councilman Schumate. Discussion. Councilman Cato, would you like to go first, or?
No, I can just turn this over. Danny Temper put this on the agenda. I think he can probably explain this a lot better than I can, but I'm wholeheartedly behind you 100% on this.
Yeah, I am too. Thank you.
I'll turn it up.
Our administrator,
Turn it over to
please.
him.
Thank you. So this came across from a neighboring municipality, and this is not just merely following the leader or following the crowd of being, opposing this move here. This is to what I consider just these communities downstream of this basin being impacted negatively by this move of diverting water up in Charlotte and reducing our water. Lake Watery, you heard earlier in the public comments that the low water there has created some issues with algae and things of that nature. But this would reduce our lake level by at least 3 feet. So this is just doing what is important and supporting our natural resource here and being lockstep with doing the right thing with the neighboring counties and municipalities by opposing this move here. So I wanted to get this in front of y'all to get your support so we can send this to the appropriate place to let them know that we are opposed to this move. Also, the city of Camden has done something similar.
I wholeheartedly agree. Would anybody else like to?
I just have a question before. So, Mr. Templar, and I know Mr. Tucker, the COG has had some role in this as well, but where, just for the public's edification and bluntly my own, who will be the ultimate decider of this? Who ultimately, because obviously this is a resolution, we're telling them we oppose it, but there's going to be some entity, Corps of Engineers, who's ultimately going to make this decision and grant or deny their request? So
there is entities, from my understanding, multiple, that this is currently open and it's the public comment period, if you will, as most things are to understand the impacts and from neighboring counties or municipalities downstream. So I think it's an aggregate of entities. So to point at one particular one, I don't know if there is one.
Councilman Tucker, you got some knowledge on this, don't you?
Yes, I'm not quite sure who's going to pull the strings, but if it's going to be like it
Charlotte?
was last time, it'll be pulled in court.
Yeah, that's kind of what, that's
You know,
kind of what I was.
ultimately where it's
yeah.
going to end up at, because we're going to have to defend our share of the watershed from Charlotte, who's growing leaps and bounds and want to control and take. And the young lady, Miss Diane Robinson, that stood up here, she's absolutely right. The less that flow is, and then the more chances you're going to have of algae and things growing into those culverts. So, and then, you know, Sumter's below us and Clareton is below them. It affects all them. And I'm happy to know that the city of Camden has done their letter. I just signed the letter for the COG. Absolutely not agreeing to this. We're wholeheartedly in. Our director of the COG is on top of this with some of our experts with the COG, just keep an eye on how this is going. But I can't tell you who I actually pull the lever and say yay or nay. But I can tell you we're prepared to fight legally to make sure that we don't decrease in our gallons per day up there, because we've already given back more than our fair share.
Sammy, help me out. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, just one last, what I was going to say, Councilman Jones, is, you know, and this, I guess, just to you, Mr. DeBose and Mr. Templar, obviously, you know, we may not be the entity that gets to decide whether or not Charlotte gets more water, but to where I was going was where Councilman Tucker went to is we would be an affected party, I would suspect, with standing in a litigation. So should that moment come, I'd like for this county to keep abreast of that, because it would be my recommendation that we join that lawsuit as a party, because we would be aggrieved. And I would think, Mr. DeBose, I mean, I think you and I would have the same analysis, right? I mean, we have to show that we're injury in fact, and I think we could absolutely show that in this case.
And also the town of Elgin, I don't know where they stand on their letter. I think they've already did theirs, but they're in that displacement as well. It affects everybody downstream, and the sad part about it, another state is deciding what we're gonna look like for the future, because without water, you don't grow.
Sammy, what is the minimum? I know they can't drain the lake, but what is the minimum they have to leave in our lake?
I don't know that right offhand, because I don't have that paperwork and stuff with me, but I can tell you what Charlotte is asking for is not doable for survival for us. It's not.
I agree, I agree.
Cannot happen, period.
So in my campaign promise, with the lake being in my district, as District 1 representative, I always said that I would support clean water and our resources. So if it takes a trip with the delegation, the state delegation and a group of us from the county to Charlotte to meet with folks to solve this issue, I'm all in, happy to put wheels in motion and meet with folks and resolve this, because we will not be abused, I can promise you. There's nobody in Charlotte that's going to abuse anybody in Kershaw County from a watershed perspective. It seems like being at the bottom of the funnel, we always get too much water or too little. And if it becomes too little, it will become a major problem, and we will address it. So with that being said, any other comments, discussion? We vote to support the resolution. Unanimous. Councilman Jones, Councilman Cato, Councilman Brazel, Councilman Shoemate, and Councilman Tucker.
Thank you, Mr. Browse. I appreciate the support from all our colleagues.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. We've taken care of item 10, new business. We have some appointments.
It looks like, Councilman Brazel, I just want to be, if I'm clear here, it looks like we're just reading names into the record.
Yes.
Because Ms. Hannah, I don't know if Ms. Hannah, you're the right person to ask this to, but I saw it looks like we have one member that is requesting not to be reappointed in the October term. Has Mr. Emmons have made any communication to your knowledge about reappointment? Okay, I sent him a message, so, just for purposes of the public transparency, Mr. Emmons was an appointee, to the Planning Commission this year, and he was finishing someone's expired term, so he's only very recently been appointed.
Less than a year.
Yeah, Colonel Eichenberger was, left the commission. So technically, his term expires in October. So I've reached out to him, members of council, and asked if he's interested in being reappointed. If he is, it would be my intention to nominate him for reappointment, given that he has only served a year. Obviously, if he doesn't, then we'll certainly need to look at that. And this is obviously, with everything we have going on, a very important commission, so. I
It'll
would-
be your call on that.
Yeah, and so, but I think, I just wanted to make clear, so we're not, so the purpose of this agenda item is just to put in the record who has applied, not to call for a vote on, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Very
Allen.
good.
We do have an application. Jitta Douglas. We have an application here. And a very, very impressive resume. Has anybody been in contact with?
I have not, I just saw this today, this is the first time I've seen this.
Okay, so I would suggest we table this until we can make contact and make an appropriate motion to appoint to said board.
There's 2 vacancies after we read these names into the records, right, Ms. Hannah?
That's if Mr. Emmons wants, that includes Mr. Emmons'.
Okay. Okay, that's what I want to
Yeah,
make
so-
clear, okay.
So if things are unclear, do we want to table, or do we want to read?
No,
read
I
these
have
in
no
the record?
problem tabling and finding out from Mr. Emmons what his intent, and then let's find a replacement for the chairwoman, Ms. Fiona.
Okay.
And see, can we get this board filled back up? This
Yeah.
board does a lot of good work. It's
Absolutely.
very important, and it needs to be filled as quickly with good people.
So,
Now, to be clear, the chair position will be elected by the
By
commission.
that body, that's correct. Yeah, we don't elect the chair for that.
So the planning commission will table this for the time being until we can have further
Push
conversation.
it forward, yeah.
And then we will bring this back up after we've had the,
You do
Appropriate
that, and then
time.
we all will search for another person to serve,
okay,
okay?
good.
Let's try to
do
have
we-
it done by our second, no later than our second meeting next month.
We need to vote to table.
Not table, just push it forward, move it forward.
I think you have the power as chair just to, because there's no
Yeah.
vote.
All right,
Move forward.
I
no,
would-
no vote taken.
I wouldn't take a vote. No,
Yeah, okay.
Okay, we're okay. Moving to item 12, council member briefings. Almost as always, start to my left, if that's okay, Councilman Jones. Would you-
That's
would
fine.
you lead off?
Sometimes I like to go last, but I want to go first this time.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay, first again, congratulations, Mr. Brazel and Vice Chair. I think you're going to do a great job. And again, congratulations to our chairman out there, Ben Cannell. I look forward to serving with him for the next 2 years and 3 or 4 months, whatever. And guys, I appreciate, Mr. Templer, the Pecan Orchard being something of importance to you guys. I really do. And actually, I do want to say this. I am going to be, I know I don't have to talk about my medical, but I've got a back issue that I'm going to be getting a surgery on next week. So I'm going to, if I'm not at the following meeting, because I'm going to be walking that same day after 3 hours of being on the operating table. Mr. Templer, I'd like to make sure I at least got a phone call in.
Yes, sir, whatever you need.
I appreciate it. I don't want my face on it if I'm laying down. But anyway, just want to make that clear. But did y'all see, what's our auditor's name? Dennis?
Arledge.
You see him in the hospital bed when he was getting sworn in? I'm not going to be in the hospital bed getting sworn in. Anyway, thank you guys very much. I appreciate looking forward to moving forward.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. If that's all, Councilman Cato?
I got just a few things. First, I want to talk about something that took place up at the Mount Pisgah Resource Center. There's a blessing box that's been placed up there, and I wanted to announce that out during the public forum here tonight. If any of you's ever seen a blessing box, it's a box that has a clear front door to it. It has non-perishable food items inside of it and different stuff for people that are in hard times or homeless or whatever the case may be. So there was a blessing box placed up at Mount Pisgah, and I wanted to thank the people of the Mount Pisgah Resource Center. Those folks there have really put a lot of hard work into that center and into this project. I also want to thank Roy's Wood Products. They helped us out with the building of this box, and the box really looks nice. So I really want to thank them for that too. But if you're in need, or if you know someone in need, there's some stuff in that box that'll maybe bless you throughout that day or whenever you need it. Remember our sports teams? We kicked off the sports season with the high school season this past week. Keep them in your prayers for their safety, and try and get out and support one of our local high school or middle school or even our rec teams. Get out and see these young people play and support them. It really means a lot to them, and it gives them something to do rather than get in trouble. So reach out and try and support these teams. I'd also like to say a little something about the Plus One. You know, I appreciate, Mr. Temper, what you've done with that. That is outstanding. It gives us a chance. You know, we never get very much credit for any of the good you do. It's always the negative that you hear. And it's always how we should have done something different or done something better, or, you know, how we could improve ourselves, but we never really get credit for the good things we do. And I applaud you for doing that for the employees of Kershaw County. There's a lot of employees in this county that do excellent jobs, and I applaud you for that. Mr. Jones, again, thank you for your leadership as vice chair, and just to know our prayers are with you during this surgery. I know you've had a hard time, and I know you're going through a hard time right now, but our prayers are with you. Okay? That's all I got tonight.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Schumate.
Yeah, just a couple of brief things. Again, congratulations, Vice Chairman.
Thank you.
Well-deserved, and as I said before, Councilman Jones, obviously you're in our prayers, and thank you for running some great meetings. Again, congratulations to Firefighter Baxley, Lieutenant Rabin, Paramedic Alvarez, and EMT Holland. That's really, really awesome, and just my hat's off to you. This is exactly what represents this county, what makes this county great. So I know they had to step out, but congratulations to that. Obviously, school's all the way full back in session. So if you're wondering if school's in session, go on Highway 12 about 7:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you will be quickly reminded. You know, again, safety to all the teachers, one of whom is my wife. And, you know, all the kids going to school, the drivers, as having 2 teenage drivers in the house, I know that stresses every parent out as they stare on Life 360 and the kids are blasting, I'm feeling 22 or whatever kids are listening to these days. Probably not that, 'cause that song's 10 years old. Moving on to sports, as Mr. Cato mentioned, Lugoff Elgin had a 35-34 squeaker victory over Lower Richland. Pretty amazing, and congrats to the football team. A special shout out to Camden cheerleader, unrelated, Emma Cotton, who is a wonderful young lady, and my son is lucky enough to be her boyfriend, and congratulations to her senior year of cheer.
Unrelated at the time.
That's right. We have a great charity in Elgin, for those of you who have not done any work with it, called Blanketing Families. And they've done a lot with the county. They set up a community park. They have a giveaway tomorrow, where they give meals and things like that at the Elgin Town Hall tomorrow at noon. They do it almost every month, sometimes more. And I just, again, a shout out to those ladies with Blanketing Families, because they do a tremendous amount of charity work there in Elgin and through Kershaw County. So if you know a family in need, or if you are a family in need, tomorrow noon, Elgin Town Hall, they will be doing a food giveaway. And that is all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Schumate. Councilman Tucker.
Yes, sir, Mr. Brazel, thank you so very much. Once again, congratulations, Vice Chair. Mr. Jones, I'm going to say to you, because I know only the good Lord moves and does things for us in a miraculous way. I know you'll have good hands on you, because you'll have his hands through mankind. But I really wish you a successful and speedy recovery. And I know your head's hard as a rock, but please try to do what the doctors asked you to do, so you
I'll
can
be walking
recover.
that day.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying, the older we get, the more stubborn we get. I ain't far behind me, but we wish you well. We really do. Also want to say, Mr. Cato, you only bragging on those non-churchill nights because y'all beat the tar out of somebody Friday. I don't know who it was, but 56 to Great Falls. Yeah, I heard y'all look real good, and that's good to hear for all the schools. as we're getting into football season. So I'm with you. Let's try to get out and support the schools and the communities and things, and have a little fun and get to see some of your neighboring folks or folks you may not live near, but Kershaw County citizens, and you can fellowship some. The other thing I want to say is happy Labor Day. We got Labor Day coming up this weekend. Please be safe. It's another dangerous travel time for us. Enjoy the long weekend that's coming up to the county employees and to all that jobs may do the same for you. And we hope to see you here in about another 2 weeks, and we'll be back at it. And the Finance Committee will get together. We will get a time with staff. We will announce it, and I just can't say enough for the Pecan Orchard folks. You are invited if you want to come. That's probably not going to be the only topic on the agenda, but we don't stay 11, 12 hours either. So you're welcome. That's all I can say. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Councilman Tucker. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the surprise. That was very kind of you.
Quite welcome.
I want to thank all my colleagues for the opportunity. You know, in year 4, things changed between year 1 and year 4. And if you'd have came in here, I'd say about 3 years ago, you would have seen Councilman Jones and I probably at it over something. He and I both a bit hard-headed and aggressive at times. But I want to say Jimmy Jones has become a good friend of mine. I appreciate everything that you did in the interim and getting us to this point. And I appreciate you letting me assist Chairman Connell. Looking forward to having Big Ben back, sat next to him for 2 years until he left us for the State House. And now he's going to come back with a lot of positive relationships and a lot of good for the county. So I look forward to everybody working together. And thank you all for this opportunity.
You earned it.
I am sure I'm forgetting something, but without further ado, Administrator Templar, your briefing, sir.
Thank you, sir. Just want to read something really quick because it was mentioned tonight. Kershaw County mission: as responsible stewards of county resources, Kershaw County will deliver efficient, effective, and safe public services while remaining accountable to our residents. These are not buzzwords. This is something I lead by. This is something that holds me accountable. This is something I try to have this organization live up to every day, every project, with every customer that comes in, every interaction, every phone call, every email. Are we perfect? No. Do we strive to do better? Absolutely. We always will. We have an amazing group of men and women that work here for this organization, and I just can't speak enough about them. Things don't happen overnight. Projects are sometimes larger than life. There's questions of funding, there's questions of approach, there's questions of what makes this problem go away. Those aren't always easy questions to answer. So Pecan Orchard is a priority of mine. I told those people I delivered not a promise, but I let them know that we have some responsibility out there, and we're going to live up to that, just as this mission statement says. So we will live by that, and that will be our guide. So just want to throw that out there real quick. One more quick item. Planning and zoning. Really proud of this because I feel like planning and zoning has been making some changes down there to really, going back to our mission statement, to really embody that and embrace that. So today, they had a lunch and learn with the South Carolina Manufactured Housing Institute. They probably had 30 or 40 people down there at economic development. They were able to have some really solid discussion, some education on both sides of the table. It was very well received, very well attended. I think every chair was full. And so There will be some more updates from that because the individual that is over that Manufactured Housing Institute for South Carolina was just absolutely pleased with the outcome. He said this was the only county, Kershaw County was the only county that is doing anything like this with this type of thing for the manufactured housing industry. They were able to have a communication that was very positive as to where our staff, our planning and zoning staff, and the Manufactured Housing Authority were able to get on the same sheet of music that could potentially cut up to $8,000 off of the setup of a manufactured home.
Wow.
Up to. So, and you know, if it, not every, that could be impactful for somebody that is choosing to live in that particular type of setting. Maybe they have a lot of land, maybe that's just a choice, but that could be the difference in maybe the type of home they get, a couple more acres, who knows. So I am extremely pleased with that report. There's a little more to some of this feedback that will come back from these individuals, but again, they were just very pleased. And we've been doing this. This is something we've been wanting to do to increase communication and foster relationships with our local builders and developers so they understand what the expectations of Kershaw County Planning and Zoning Department is. We've made strides down there to really, again, foster these opportunities to work with our local builders and you know, our national builders. We can't pick and choose our customers, but whoever comes in that door, whether you're building a deck for yourself or you're developing 30 acres, we want to provide the same amount of service. We want it to be consistent and, again, living up to these principles of our Kershaw County mission. So just wanted to share those two items with you. That's all I have. And, again, thank you so much for allowing me to brag on our +1 people. So thank you.
If I may, just briefly, when it comes to department heads and leadership, attitude is everything. And these sort of lunch and learns and get-togethers gives us an opportunity to break down barriers and talk as friends and humans, and I appreciate these things, and I'm glad that they're happening. We need to be business-friendly here in Kershaw County. We need to be responsible as to how we move forward in development. We all have had these conversations, but thank you for doing this.
And I credit Joey down there and Sam. They do an amazing job, and they are hungry for these opportunities to get better. So.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you, Sam.
All right, attorneys' briefings.
I've got nothing other than what I promised to be a very short executive session.
Huh?
All right.
Promise a very short executive session, but have nothing for open session.
Promises, promises.
I'd like to invite the chair-elect to go in with us.
If that's
It is.
legal, he's shaking his head no, so we're going to leave him out. Okay, so.
You're welcome, sir. That's our first disagreement.
But
He hasn't been sworn in yet.
noted as a very gracious offer.
Good, kind, humble gesture, the kind of man I am.
Absolutely, and we appreciate that. All right, all those in favor of going into the executive
Hold on,
session?
motion first.
Oh, motion put on the floor,
Make a
please.
motion that we go into executive session for legal advice from our county
Second.
attorney.
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor? Here we go. All right. All right. Coming back out of executive session, we received legal
Oh.
advice.
Let's come back out so we can
Oh.
record, okay? Make a motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
All right. All those in favor? Councilman Cato, Brazel, Schumate, Tucker.
Yes, sir.
We received legal advice pending a threatening claim covered by attorney-client privilege. No votes will be taken. So we are out of executive session. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Vice Chair.
Second?
Second.
All right, adjourn. Have a good night.